Hey everyone, this is our lesson on animal behavior. So, animal behavior is anything an animal does in response to a stimulus. The stimulus will cause a change in the animal, and the way that animal changes is the behavior. Um, so, examples of stimuli could be other animals, temperature, day length, anything like that. So, there are two types that we're going to look at: innate behavior, which is then broken down into automatic and instinct, and then learned behavior. So, innate behavior is inherited behavior of animals. So, it's like pre programmed into their brain. It's just stuff you do naturally that you don't even think about. So, some automatic behaviors here are done without conscious knowledge or conscious control. So, it happens without us even being able to understand why it's happening. So, examples: the withdrawal response away from a hot object. So, if you've ever put something in the oven, you draw your hand back really quick because you almost touch the hot rack in there. Or when your body gets goosebumps when it's cold, your reflexes at the doctor, anything like that. That's just automatic. I want to say almost like muscle memory behavior. It just happens. Breathing is an automatic behavior, okay? And then we've got instinct behavior, which is carried out in a series of steps. And these happen over a long period of time. They're a little bit more complex, obviously, than our automatic behavior. So one could be birds rolling their eggs into a nest. Okay. And then baby turtles migrating to the sea. So this is something it's an instinct behavior. It's something they know they have to do, but it's more effort than an automatic. So another example here is kangaroo rats and striking snakes. So as a snake strikes at one of these rats, they will jump to avoid that strike. So that's why they have much larger hind legs than they do front legs. Another type of instinct behavior is courtship, so mating. And this is behavior that the male and females carry out in mating. So we know, like peacocks, the males are the colorful ones. They will kind of flaunt their plumage to get a female's attention. This could be two males fighting so that the winner is the most desirable male. Cardinals, the red ones, are the males, and the brown ones are the females because the males have to show off to get the female's attention. So making a territory is also an instinctive behavior. So physical space that an animal defends and protects, and many times a territory is marked via urination. So cats will spray, and then, most dogs or dog species will urinate on their spot. And another one, like we said earlier, is aggression. So this can be used to intimidate another animal of the same species or to prove dominance. And animals will defend their young, their territory, and their food. If you've ever had a dog that growls at you when you go near their food bowl, that's an instinctive behavior. So aggression will lead to dominance hierarchies, which will form social rankings with more submissive lower levels. And this will help identify the alpha or the leader of the pack. Another instinctive behavior is an internal biological rhythm or a biological clock. And when I say that, I don't mean in terms of reproduction. I mean in terms of when your body gets tired to go to bed, things like that. So a 24-hour sleep-wake cycle that is regulated by light. So this is known as your circadian rhythm. So for instance, in the summertime, it stays light a lot darker. You may not be as tired as late, or when it starts to do that and your body's used to going to bed at a certain time, but it's still light outside and you're like, oh my God, why am I so tired right now? It's because your body has not adjusted to the light change to kind of fix that, and your circadian rhythm's off. So another instinctive behavior is migration, which we know about this one with birds. And this is a seasonal movement of animals in response to the changes in climate or food availability and to ensure reproduction. So whales will do this, birds, butterflies, all of them will move based on the seasonal climate. Hibernation is another one, and this is defined as a period of inactivity in cold temperatures. So the body temperatures will drop for these animals very, very far. and the food consumption decreases, the heart rate declines. So these animals will stock up and eat a lot of food really early and then basically slip into a coma for a couple months. The animals, again, will eat food to store up body fat prior to hibernation. So, I don't know what that says. Oh, as a question, what organic compound is used for long-term energy storage? So don't forget, those are the lipids. That's long-term lipids. Estivation is another instinctive behavior, and this is a period of inactivity due to high heats. So this is the opposite of hibernation in terms of why it happens. So this is common in drought and desert animals. They will bury themselves into the ground in a cool spot or try to get to a water reservoir to estivate for a while. We can also look at the fight or flight response as a behavior here. And this is when a species or an organism is put into a stressful situation, the brain will kind of direct them to go one way or the other, either avoid the situation and flight or confront it and fight. There are certain stress hormones that the body is more prone to in terms of looking for these. So we've got blood flow to skeletal muscles. Heart rate will increase, your blood sugar levels increase, your blood pressure will increase, pupils will dilate. These are all signs that you're stressed out. Breathing rate increases, intestinal muscles relax. So now that we've learned about the innate behaviors, now let's talk about the learned behaviors. So these, just common knowledge off the name, these are taught through practice. These are learned. So these are most common in humans. And it permits change in behavior to changing conditions. So that means you're able to adapt to your situations. Species that are able to have learned behaviors have more complex brains because more learning will take place. One learning behavior is habituation, which is where an animal no longer responds to a stimulus because it neither harms it nor benefits it. Imprinting is another learned behavior, and this is where animals will form social attachments to another object. So there is this man, Konrad Lorenz, who was a German psychologist, and he imprinted on gray lag geese, and they just followed him everywhere. Like they thought it was the mom. If you've ever read the book Are You My Mother, it kind of is like that when it comes to imprinting. And then another learned behavior is trial and error. So you try things till it works for you. And to do this, the animal must receive a reward for making a particular response. Motivation is another one. So this is an internal physical need that an animal has to have that causes the animal to act. So for instance, putting a hungry mouse in a maze with food at the end, they are going to learn their way through that maze to get to the food or water if they're thirsty. Conditioning is another one. So this is learned by association. So for instance, cattle associate a call and a bucket with food. So if they hear the call or see the bucket, they will follow the farmer, whoever that may be, to get the food that they are associating with that. Another learned behavior is insight. So when an animal uses previous knowledge to respond to a new situation. So we've done this, you experience something one time, you go and you have a similar situation. Now you should know how to react in said situation because you've experienced it before. Communication is another one. And this is just, as we've seen, an exchange of information that results in a change in behavior. Language is a growing one, which is the use of symbols that represent ideas. Division of labor. So species will take specific jobs that are assigned to specific individuals. So you can think of like worker bees versus the queen bee versus the egg-laying bees. You've got different jobs for ants, all kinds of different things. They're assigned specific jobs that they have to do. And social behavior. So these are behaviors that take place between members of the same species. So these can include pheromones, which can, lead to mating and courtship dances, and then territorial behavior. So pheromones are chemicals that are capable of acting like hormones outside of the body that are secreted by one individual in a species to attract others of the same species. So these are often associated with attraction between mates. So females will release pheromones that will then attract the males to them during their time of mating. Courtship dances is also one, which is a display by one sex of a species to help attract a mate, which you can see a lot with birds. And then territorial behavior is aggressive behavior that will defend territories based on, one of those many factors: food, their actual territory, their mate, anything like that.